So my question is for Allison, and you mentioned digital twin, and have you heard about our country being a corporation and the straw man?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Again, that's one of those things, like I don't hear a lot of people in that space of like the maritime law, like making the connection to the straw. I don't know, maybe they are and I'm just not active in it that much. I mean, do you know if they're making those connections?
Yes, they are.
Okay, all right, well, that's good.
One more thing is the American Frontline Doctors, they've been talking about developing, or having a parallel society and creating our own medical. So we're going to have like 4 hospitals around the United States, as well as our own legal system, which will probably be stripping us back down to the Bill of Rights and our Constitution, and us not following everything else that's going on here. Do you think that our country, or our world rather, will allow us to live that way without trying to encamp us, things like that?
Well, I would say if they're proposing like a legal system and all of that, if they're not talking about the Web3 stuff. I mean, to me at this point, if you're a prominent thought leader and you're not actually integrating the digital identity, Web3 cyber physical systems into the conversation, I don't really know that you're informed enough to make the strategy call. That's just where I'm at. And I don't really see, I've pretty much given up the health freedom space personally, because for the first year, I was pretty confident that at some point the information that I was sharing about the finance markets and digital identity would sink in, and it didn't. And no one picked it up, and they still haven't. And so at this point, I mean, I would say people have to make their own decisions. It's not like many of these people haven't been told or aren't aware. They're simply not incorporating it into their analysis. And it's not because it's not happening. So then you have to wonder if these are the people who are being placed in front of you in social media. Think about the ant computer. Think about how the simulation runs, and then ask yourself, where are we in the simulation and what is the purpose? I mean, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe all this Web3 isn't, what it is, but I would say have a gander at the Protocol Labs YouTube channel. It's pretty intense. And the fact that those videos are only getting 200 or 300 views indicates, and these are some of the most powerful people in AI working on this, it just, to me, shows how broken the digital world is and how easy it is to obscure, like within a world of curated information, what gets amplified and what gets suppressed. I'll just add as an example, so Cello is a digital currency that my friend Leo Saraceno has done a lot of writing on at siliconicarus.com. And this digital currency is being piloted in humanitarian aid spaces, but there's going to be a bigger rollout, and it's led by Sepp Kamvar. Sepp Kamvar was the person who did the Google personalized algorithms setup, and he was the head of the social systems group at MIT. While he was at MIT, he created a Montessori school franchise where they put sensors in the children's slippers and in the classroom environment to track the children. It's called Wildflower Montessori. It's around the Boston area. So one of his partners in this is Charles Eisenstein of the Sacred Economy. Now, there are many, many people in the space who really find they are aligned with how he speaks about things in terms of the sacred economy and nature and other things. But the reality is he's never actually addressed the fact that he is an advisor to Cello and Sepp Kamvar. And for the most part, I think in these social worlds, they know that people are in search of a leader, like someone who they can follow and that they can trust, and there's a community built around it, and they know that that's what people seek, and so that's what they give them. And then once you find out the story is maybe more complex or there's more layers, people are really loath to be rejected from the group, from looking at new realities, like asking questions. It's very hard to have the strength to just, it doesn't make the other people wrong, but it makes it very hard to introduce new information. With the ants, what they said in their path planning, they're very efficient. Once they set the path, they set the path. And if you change the route, say you remove a barrier that makes the other path that was longer shorter, they can't change. Or if you add additional food to a food source, once the process is in place, they can't redirect. So that's what the last 2.5 years have been, unfortunately. And I don't even know that many of the people who are up there being the nodes in this network understand. Do I think they know about the Ant computer? I don't. I think that they're just people who like to be liked and like to be influential and have things to say, and they have things to say. But it's complicated, and understanding complexity doesn't get rewarded, unfortunately.